on defense. We believe that security is a European common good and therefore needs a common European answer. It's a time to take more responsibility for European security, and it was the main subject of today's discussion. We do welcome the European Commission proposal, Rearm Europe. I'd like to thank Valdis and the European Commission for this historically, I believe, the biggest defense package that you put on the table, and I'd like to underline that the aim of the presidency is to finalize the work on this package urgently. The Rearm Europe plan outlines several ways to finance increased defense spending. One of its key elements is, of course, the SAFE instrument, a loan mechanism of up to 150 billion of joint procurement. As the presidency, we are aiming at swift agreement on the SAFE instrument, preferably already in May. Another element of our discussion today was the research made by independent think tank Bruegel, presented today by Guntram Wolf. The Bruegel's paper provides valuable insight on this topic and stimulated a very interesting and wide-ranging discussion. The ministers underlined that there is a need to act and that we need to coordinate our efforts. I believe that the word that was repeated today very, very often was the word efficiency. Because of course we can discuss on how much we spend, but it's probably even more important to answer the question how we spend, where we buy, what we buy. To make, as a Ministers of Finance, it's our duty, it's our responsibility to secure wise spending of our taxpayers' money. And we spent a lot of, huge part of today's discussion on various proposals on how to increase the efficiency of those spending. Once again, the top priority for Polish presidency is security, and therefore top priority for us right now is to go with rearm package presented by European Commission, and especially with the SAFE program. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrzej. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, in current geopolitical situation, Europe is committed to taking more responsibility for its security by mobilizing substantial investments in defense capabilities and defense industry. And it's especially appropriate that we held this discussion here in Warsaw, given that Poland is leading the way in investing to enhance defense and security capabilities. EU member states bordering Russia or its satellite state Belarus understand the threats that the European Union is facing better than anyone else. They have also experienced hybrid warfare, such as instrumentalization of migration, have been targeted on Russian disinformation campaigns, and also faced a number of sabotage acts. It is therefore reassuring to see that there was a very broad agreement amongst ministers that Europe must take more responsibility for its defense. Of course, rebuilding Europe's defense capabilities requires urgent and significant investment, and that was the focus of today's meeting. Last month, the Commission presented Rearm Europe Plan and Readiness 2030 initiative to facilitate and encourage such investment. As you know, it aims to boost defense funding to unlock up to 800 billion euros. This can be a game changer for Europe's defense capabilities. Today provided important opportunity to present ministers with this package and engage with ministers on its contents. So allow me briefly present three main elements that we discussed in today's meeting. Firstly, we have proposed the coordinated activation of the national escape clause in Stability and Growth Pact. This will facilitate rapid increase in defense spending by allowing member states to temporarily deviate from normal fiscal requirements. I underlined that it will be crucial for member states to, at the same time, safeguard fiscal sustainability. And to this end, the deviation is limited in terms of scope, duration, and volume. From today's discussion, we can see that most member states, large majority of member states, are considering triggering this clause. And we, from Commission side, want to do it to the extent possible, coordinated and synchronous manner. So we have invited member states to come forward with their requests to activate the national scope clauses by the end of April. It's not a deadline, but it's just to ensure this coordination. The Commission then stands ready to swiftly assess the requests and adopt recommendations in June for adoption by the Council in July. The second main element we presented was the new 150 billion euros loan instrument, Security Action for Europe, or SAFE. This will provide loans to member states to invest in key defense areas like ammunition, missiles, drones, and cybersecurity. The funds will be raised on capital markets and disbursed to interested member states upon demand based on their national plans. So SAFE will encourage member states to spend better, together, and European by providing loans on very good terms. And the third and final element we presented concerns better channeling private financing towards the defense sector, also with the help of European Investment Bank Group and Savings and Investments Union. A short word on economic impact of those measures. Beyond enhancing Europe's security, we expect additional defense spending to also boost competitiveness and economic growth, drive innovation, and create jobs. The precise impact will eventually depend on the spending trajectory of member states over time and its composition. It can also act to enhance the capabilities and capacities of Europe's defense industries. As you know, the EU is also working intensively to diversify our trade with new and existing partners across the world. So we expect also to find new markets for resurgent European defense industry as our allies and strategic partners across the world seek reliable suppliers. To conclude, the Commission looks forward to continuing to engage closely with Member States in the weeks ahead on the next steps in rebuilding Europe's defence capabilities. Together we can and will take responsibility for defending our freedoms and values. And before I finish, I wanted to once again thank the Polish Presidency for your hospitality and for excellent organisation of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have some questions, so Financial Times first.
Palatan with the Financial Times. Commissioner, would the Commission be of the idea that beyond ReArm EU, there is a need for new financing options? We have seen the Bruegel paper, the British proposal, an Italian proposal, a Spanish proposal, so there is a lot of demand for a new financing means. Will the Commission be willing to put something else on the table or participate in one of these initiatives? And what is the timeline that you think is necessary to get an agreement on any of those? Thanks.
From Commission side, indeed, we are open to explore further options, and actually Bruegel was presenting their paper in today's meeting. Indeed, it's important to look for ways how we can how like-minded democracies engaged in strengthening European defence and work together with partners like UK and Norway, but also with other partners. So from Commission side, we are ready to engage those discussions and to see how we can move also beyond existing initiatives. At the same time, obviously, that should not reduce the pace at which we are implementing the initiatives currently on the table. And also, something which was raised by a number of ministers during today's meetings, the question of asymmetric impact of the security threats which we are facing, and especially situation in countries in the eastern border of the EU, and correspondingly the Commission already has announced that it will work also on a support for those eastern border member states and regions in a context of preparation of next multi-annual financial framework.
Polish presidency welcomes the Commission openness for further actions. We do focus right now on rearm. Having said that, we are ready to animate the discussion, as we do know that for some countries the needs are higher, and that there is a kind of discussion about what else can be done to improve security.
Reuters.
Jan Struszewski from Reuters. A question to Minister Domański. Can you tell us what was the reaction of ministers to the Bruegel paper? Was it positive? Were people interested, or was it dismissed? After all, the Bruegel paper offers a way to keep debt off national accounts and on the accounts of the potential European defence mechanism. I think that is very important for highly indebted countries. Thank you.
Okay. So we had really good discussion today, and most of the ministers were really interested in the Bruegel paper. Most of ministers share the view that additional tools, additional steps could be needed, and of course, as been said a moment ago, there are lots of propositions that have been floated in the previous weeks, previous months. Bruegel adds to that. I'd just like to underline once again that this is the independent think tank proposition. It's not coming from our presidency, and we believe that informal ECOFIN is the right moment to present such a valuable insight.
Thank you. And Bloomberg.
Agnieszka Bartaszko, Bloomberg News. A question to Mr. Commissioner on Spain's proposal for the new defense instrument. Do you think it is worth exploring, including the use of underlying frozen Russian central bank assets for military projects in Ukraine? And how was it received in the meeting today? And I also have a question to Minister Domański, if I may. How do you see Poland's GDP growth this year? Isn't the 3.9% you had assumed before becoming less realistic given this stormy time globally? Thank you.
Well, indeed, Spanish Minister Carlos Corpo presented this Spanish proposal for this defense instrument to the ministers. So, as I was saying from the Commission side, we are ready to explore new ways and new options, and indeed already we touched upon some aspects also raised by this Spanish proposal on the asymmetric impact of the threats which we are currently facing, on the need to have European public good dimension as regards this defense spending and other elements. So I think it fits well in the discussions which we are currently having, and as I was saying, from European Commission side, we are ready to explore also the next steps and ways how we move further beyond the proposals which are currently on the table. As regards Russian assets, well, there are a number of decisions and steps which have been already taken, which are worth noting. So on one hand, there is a G7 decision making sure that those Russian assets stay immobilized as long as Russia is not paying reparations to Ukraine for the damage it has created. And it's also worth noting that right now the proceeds from Russian assets are being used to repay air loans in a G7 framework being provided to Ukraine. So when we are discussing possible next steps concerning Russian assets, this is something which we need also to keep in mind, that how it affects then the repayment of air loans which are currently provided to Ukraine. But in any case, it's clear that aggressor Russia needs to be held responsible for the damage it is creating in Ukraine, and it needs to pay for this damage it's creating in Ukraine, and we need to seek ways how to ensure it.
I'd like to say it's really encouraging that some southern European countries were mentioning today the word solidarity, and that pointing to this asymmetry mentioned by Commissioner, and comparing that to the COVID situation when we also had this asymmetry, and it's clear that right now it's Eastern and Central European countries that has the highest defense needs. So I'm really glad that our friends from some southern European countries want to express this solidarity also in terms of financing defense. In terms of GDP, our current forecast is, as you know, 3.9 GDP growth this year. But of course, the rising tension in global trade and new tariffs, they will have their effect. So there is a downside risk for such a for this forecast, but it's small in my opinion.
Thank you. Jarno Hartikainen, Helsingin Sanomat. Firstly, a question to Minister Domanski, if I may. You said that majority of the ministers shared the view that additional steps on defense funding are needed. So do you sense there's a shift on the consensus here? Is there more appetite for further steps now, maybe joint borrowing, maybe measure such like the European defense mechanism? And to Commissioner Dombrovskis as well, if I may, how would you assess the Bruegel proposal? Is this something that the Commission might further develop, and is it a problem for the Commission that this proposal is not an EU instrument, it would be outside the EU structures? Thank you.
All right, so of course European countries maybe like this, we see this awakening in Europe in terms of security. And of course, the position of some countries is different than it was a year or 2 years ago, and the willingness to spend more is higher. And then there's a growing number of countries that believe that some further steps to improve security and financing of defense in Europe is really needed.
Some points on this Bruegel paper. As I was saying, broadly from the Commission side, we are open to explore further options. On a specific Bruegel paper, they propose it having as an intergovernmental instrument, and with intergovernmental instrument, obviously, then the question what exactly the European Commission role would be, because if it's a community method, it's well established in intergovernmental instruments. That would require separate discussions, but certainly it helps to achieve certain objectives, like possibility to engage with other like-minded partners outside the EU, And also, since it would be built on, so to say, coalition of the willing principle, removes the requirement of unanimity as regards the EU budget.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for the floor. This is Fabio Napoli for the Italian news agency Policy Europe. A question for the Minister. In your opinion, what could be the contribution by third countries to the European defense? And if the issue was raised during the meeting, what's the stance that UK brought to the table today? And for the Commissioner, if the Commission would be ready to facilitate the participation of third countries to an European defense. Thank you.
I will not comment on any specific country today, but what I can say is, for example, they can join procurement. Yes, we know that we buy in large, we buy cheaper. We can buy more for the same amount of money. So we can be more efficient while spending our taxpayers' money. So this is just one example. If thinking about some further financial instruments, of course, the third countries can also substantially contribute to those. But as I said, it would be premature to discuss which country can contribute in what extent. Today's meeting was in the format of 27 countries only member states, just to make it sure. We do focus, as I said, on European Commission rearm proposal. This is our top priority right now. Having said that, of course, this food for thought presented by Bruegel is also important for us, and it can help in some further discussions.
Thank you.
On this second part of the question, as I was saying, from European Commission side, it's clear that to strengthen Europe's defense, we must do many things in the EU, but we must also do many things together with like-minded partners outside the EU. So from that point of view, we are open for this engagement.
Thank you very much. Marco Bresolin from the Italian newspaper La Stampa. A question for Commissioner, but I also would like to know Minister's opinion. The Italian minister just said that when it comes to the activation of the national escape clause for defense spending, that they would like to see first the result of the NATO summit in June. So, but my question is the Commission ready to wait until June? Do you think it makes sense? And what's also the opinion of the Polish government? Thank you.
From European Commission side, we see the urgency of increasing defense expenditure. So that's why we propose that Member States are filing their applications for national escape clause already this month, so that by July we can finalize all the procedure and Member States can start using this flexibility. But as I was saying in introductory remarks, this April is not a deadline. So if some Member State decides to apply also at the later date, it also will be possible. We see merit in to do it to the extent possible together to have collective action, but it's also a possibility to apply at the later date.
For us, it's the crucial is coordination. We believe that there should be coordinated action from the member states. I will have next week calls with some member states that could be interested in this option, so we better understand our positions.
Thank you. And the last question, the lady here in front, please.
Thank you. Giovanna Fagionato for Politico Europe. A question for both, if I may. There are some concerns that a greater fiscal flexibility at the national level will not help to overcome the fragmentation of our defense industry, and instead it will boost more procurement at the national level. Also because the loans can be attractive for some countries and not for others. So I would like to know how the Commission answered to this concern, and if today's discussion provides some answer.
Yeah, on this, indeed, some ministers touched upon those topics as well. Because the question is not only how much we spend, but how efficiently we spend, and from that point of view, streamlining of the defense and weapons systems in the EU, ensuring interoperability and so on is obviously important aims. So in any case, this discussion we had today on the financial side is to be seen in a context also of the European Commission's white paper on future of European defence, when we are actually dealing with many of those topics that we indeed need to coordinate and streamline this defence effort across member states. And if you look at the SAFE instrument is exactly there to have a joint procurement of member states of primarily European or so to say EU plus military equipment, so it already makes certain steps towards this streamlining.
Defense capability are crucial for all of us, for our security. We definitely want to strengthen the European defense industry, and the way we can do it is, of course, by the joint procurement. And I believe that I know that also today the ministers of finance from many countries were expressing their will to have it well implemented in a way that would strengthen, as I said, the defense industry and by this European economy.
Thank you very much. We need to wrap up. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.